Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to Saturday, welcome to March, and welcome to Venus in retrograde. It's been a hot minute since Venus has been in retrograde. Venus only goes into retrograde every year and a half, 18 months-ish, give or take. So the last time would have been in 2023. Yeah. Many people know when Mercury's in retrograde. They know about Mercury because a lot of people talk about it. It's to do with our communication center. Monday, we had Mars go back into direct orbit. And again, that is another personal planet. We have three of them. We have Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Whereas Mars is the Roman aspect of Aries, so we had a lot of that anger and frustration. Venus, well, that's Aphrodite. And yes, that love connection. And it's going to be more than just the romantic partner, the relationship with self, with family, with friends. It's impacted. Now, Venus is in retrograde for 6 weeks. It goes direct on April 12th. During that 6-week period, Mercury will join Venus in retrograde, which gives us a double whammy of personal planets in retrograde. And a lot of it deals with communication and relationships. So be aware that that is going to be impacting Venus in retrograde. Now, I will do a separate reading for Mercury in retrograde, but know that during Venus, Mercury will go in and you'll have that double whammy, if you will, of personal planets orbiting, or it appears that they're going backwards in their rotation around the sun. Are they? No, it's an optical illusion, which does kind of send off that topsy-turvy. It's not negative, but there's a lot of barriers and challenges to communication and relationships. Now, one other point. Venus, we know, is all about that relationship, that love, that beauty. Well, there's also a hidden part. Venus also is connected into finances. During Venus in retrograde, a lot of us make some pretty funky choices in our financial situation. So please keep that in the back of your mind over the next 6 weeks. So making big decisions on relationships and finances is not something that I would highly recommend. You're going to need to think things through. Now, I will map out some of the challenges, some of the things that we can look forward to, if you will. And there are things to look forward to, guys. Retrograde, just like a reversal in the card, does not mean it's the end of the world, or it's, we should all just turtle and hide. With a big energy, and in some situations, we're going to have two big energies. Retrograde, they're not in full power. That means some of the more subtle pieces that we miss can come forward. So retrogrades, I know we always talk about the challenges. Oh, my computer doesn't work. This doesn't work. There's more to it. And that's something else I want to look at. The tarot deck I have chosen, this is the Witch's Tarot. I wanted the beauty because there's the gorgeous deck, but there's a lot of darker, kind of more mysterious, challenging parts to it. So I felt it was going to be a good fit for that retrograde. And because we do have the beauty and whimsical Aphrodite Venus energy, this is the Angelic Vibrations Oracle. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we want that femininity, that beauty to really sing through, because that's part of Venus. It helps us to see the art, the beauty, the love and joy that's all around us. because it's in retrograde, it just means that we're going to have to use our tools to look a little bit harder and differently. All right, that said, let's see what we can expect for the next 6 weeks with Venus in retrograde. Now, I should say, during this next 6 weeks, we do have a few other things. Both Juno and Vesta, their constellations, they're going into retrograde. It's not as impactful. However, they will go into retrograde. Additionally, we have a lunar and solar eclipse happening. So there is a lot of different moving parts during this next 6 weeks. Now, either we have 1 reversal and 4 upright, or 1 upright and 4 reversal. Let's see what it is. I can never remember. I don't use this deck very often. And I don't know why. It's so pretty. The 7 of Pentacles in reversal. The 2 of Swords. Ooh, the King of Pentacles. The 4 of Wands. And then the Knight of Cups. Like I said, there's still lots of beauty, lots of positivity that can and will happen. Just because it's a challenge or we have some little bits of bumps and a detour, it doesn't mean that it's going to be all toxic and doom and gloom. The most important piece will be, especially over the next 6 weeks, is watching where our energy goes. We don't want to get into a lot of micromanaging, obsessive thinking, overworking in our relationships, in our work life, our school life, our family life. We don't want that dictator of we have to work. We do need that fun and play. We do need that compassion, that stability, and that knowledge. And I love the fact that we have 4 upright cards in the 4 suits. Really being that magician where you are using your tools. You're using your abilities and your skills to overcome whatever challenge comes forward. You're able to have that empathy and compassion that the cups have, the enthusiasm and fulfillment and that inner fire of the wands, the stability and the growth of the pentacles, and the knowledge and the skills of the swords. We need to use all of them. Do we want to hyper focus in and become obsessive? No. Trust in yourself and read the situation. Because you've got to realize this is not just a you thing, it's going to be an everybody thing. Because this is a global astrological thing. And whether someone believes in it or not, it doesn't matter. I have people tell me that Mercury in retrograde doesn't mean anything. Retrogrades don't mean anything. Zodiac and horoscopes don't mean anything. Okay, that's their thought. But why are you being so reactive to me? Because usually it's during Mercury in retrograde when they're telling me. It's a thing. Be present. Again, that grounded stability. And it's not just any grounded stability. It is the king. He's got it all going on. He knows how to maintain that stability, maintain that growth. And this is really important, that prosperity, making sure that you are aware of those decisions. You've got things thought through before you dive in, both on that financial piece, but also on that relationship piece. We're able to fluidly move through our tools and abilities when we are using that front part of our brain, that frontal cortex, our third eye thinking center. Easy ways to remember to be able to use and access that is through taking deep breaths. When we become reactive or when things start to become stressful, we have a tendency to hold our breath or take very shallow, panty type breaths. And that's not going to help you. That's going to keep you in that fight, flight, freeze system, and it's not going to help you be able to problem solve. We need to be able to problem solve. The Four of Wands reminds us that, again, it's not all doom and gloom, guys. There is going to be a lot of positive stuff. And sometimes we have to create that positive and embrace that fun. Because a good way to shift some of the that you're going to feel, because we're all going to feel it, is through a little bit of laughter, some fun, some play. Don't overthink that part. Leave that open. Again, it's not all about, micromanaging. You don't always have to problem solve everything to death. This is about having that fun, having that play, and allowing that positive energy to flow. Because when we're laughing, we start to flood our brain with endorphins, positive endorphins that make things a lot better. The Knight of Cups reminds us that we're going to need a lot of compassion. Compassion for self, tolerance for self, compassion and tolerance for others. The latter half of that is so much easier than the first part. But having that compassion will help you keep your cup full and you feeling more able to, again, be very fluid and go through and use your tools as you need them. And if you're a parent or a caregiver, again, you're going to have to use your tools to help with those you're caring for. Because again, individuals, especially children, and sometimes the elderly or people who may not be bogged down by all the everyday demands, they can sometimes really be impacted by that, and they don't always have the words for it. Well, let's be honest, some of us who understand it don't have the words. But just know that there's going to be sometimes individuals that you need to be able to support in working through and helping them to shift gears. Again, laughter is going to really help. Putting on a funny show, putting on some memes, it sounds corny, but again, it's a tool that you can use that A, doesn't cost a lot, and B, does such a great deal to shift things. Water, amazing to shift things. You've had a hard day, your kids have a hard day. Shower time. And know that if you are a caregiver and that is your role, whether that be a parent or you have an adult that you're caring for, or even a child that you're caring for, if you're in that role as a caregiver, you do have that ability to ask for help. Ask the high vibrational beings to break down some of that. You can go then take a shower, or go have that kid take a shower, or whoever you're caring for. Hey, you know what? Maybe we should take a shower or a bath or take them swimming. Water can help to clear that energy, that excess. So think outside the box and keep it light. It doesn't always have to be a lot of extra. It can sometimes just be some playful fun. And let's be honest, we like to make things a whole lot more complicated than what they need to be. These are such pretty decks. I had never thought to use these two together because they're very different, but sometimes different is good. It gives a different perspective and different imagery. You are looked after. I love this. Know we came with the tools, the supports that we need. And if we're missing something, it's okay to ask. We're not alone in this. I know sometimes we feel like it, but we're not. sometimes hidden deep within things, you find that support. So like I said, that intentional bathing, it's huge. As you're getting ready, or child care person getting ready for a shower, and I do this with my own kids. They're slamming about because I've told them they have to go take a shower. They're teenagers. They don't like it. I ask the high vibrational beings to go in on their behalf to clear out their tantrum, the heaviness, the toxicity, their bad day. And then they take their shower. And they're, under their breath, they're swearing at mom because she made them go take a shower. But it helps to release some of the tensions of the day. Also, water and showers can help you to connect in and get into that meditative space. A lot of us do our greatest thinking during the shower. So maybe give yourself an extra 5 minutes in the shower. Wishful thinking. This doesn't feel like you need to wish or manifest something. This is more about thinking outside the box. That wishful, whimsical thought. Things aren't going to work in the normal way because things aren't shifting and flowing and moving in the normal way. So allow that brain, that creativity to start to expand and be open to some different possibilities, different tools, different ways of doing things, so that you're not carrying as much. Hope. The positive, unconditional, loving emotion. It's one of the few things that we have as humans. Pandora's box. What was left? Hope. This too shall pass. Let's be honest, there's been times where it feels like the entire universe is in retrograde and nothing's working. We got through that. A lot of times we have some pretty funny stories to tell about it too. This too shall pass, and the more we stay positive, especially in the way we're treating ourselves, it helps to really even out some of the bumpy road we're going to be dealing with. Because again, Venus is about that loving relationship. What is the first loving relationship? The most important one is with ourselves. So that positivity, that hopeful, again, compassionate energy and feeling towards self is going to be very important. We start beating up on ourselves and things are going to be really challenging. You will destabilize yourself and bring yourself a lot more challenge, a lot more grief. If you find that you are starting to have a lot of that toxic thinking and belief system come forward, that intentional bathing, huge. Shifting your energy, huge. It's an important piece. We have the Queen of Pentacles now. Now here's the darker piece. This is the Devil. It's called the shadow side, but this is our lower vibrational side. Death. And the Page of Pentacles. We almost have the entire Pentacle suit here in the court cards. That stability, it's important. That groundedness, again, huge. We've got 4 pentacles. The more grounded we are, the more we're able to use that front part of our brain, that third eye thinking center. The Queen brings in that nurturing and compassionate energy, really bolstering that night. We need to have that care, compassion, and understanding. People are going to have a hard day. You're going to have a hard day. People will trigger you. You will trigger people. Can you stop that? You might be able to minimize it by, again, thinking outside the box and not being afraid to try things differently. Don't get caught up in the same rut or trying to do it how you've always done it, because again, things aren't flowing as they always do. Will our lower vibrational self add fuel to this fire? Absolutely. Why? Because it'll keep you very contained and very stuck. The Death card talks about the release. You're going to have to release some of this energy, some of these, it's not so much thoughts and beliefs, but it's just that the heaviness. Like I said, when I was doing that spiel on intentional bathing, amazing, easy way. You don't have to think too hard. You don't have to add in too much more because we bathe regularly. Huge, huge piece. Use the tools that you know that you can incorporate into your day. And if the only thing that you can remember to do is to breathe, you're going to be able to access that frontal part of your brain and you can start to ask the questions. Pages are not afraid to do that. The Queen and the King have that stability and frame of mind to be open to those questions. We have a tendency, and many of us have been taught not to question. However, we should. We should be asking, and we should be asking one of the hardest questions: why? When we ask that question, we're starting to open up and look at things differently. And it's not that you're being harsh or critical and trying to prove something to self. This is just about trying to understand and think differently. Again, adding in that playful fun, making sure it's on the positive. You don't need to add more of the toxic, of the hard and brutal. We're going to have enough of that. Be intentional and shift it. Shift it through the positive. And it doesn't have to be a lot of things, easy things that you can incorporate into your day. I want to thank you for joining me today and exploring Venus in retrograde. We have it for a couple more weeks, 6 weeks to be exact. April 12th, I believe is what I said, for when it goes direct. Yes, April 12th. It's not a forever thing. It's 6 weeks, and then we have, well, a year and a half free of it. Just remember to use your tools and have compassion for you. Now, if you did enjoy this session, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think. How are you going to cope with Venus in retrograde? And if you haven't done so, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, because I've got so much more coming forward. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you're looking for an added layer of support, I do have a Patreon page. I provided a link below so you can go check it out. Again, I want to thank you so very much for joining me today and exploring Venus in retrograde. Until tomorrow, my friends.